Welcome to my channel.
Story 1. I am writing anonymously for 2 reasons. To protect my brother's job, and I don't like to air my dirty laundry in public, it's embarrassing. This occurred back in the late 90s when cell phone technology was just getting underway. My brother had worked for a branch of the military and helped a large cell phone company build their network. I was coming home from a weekend of visiting my children and was early, so I thought I would surprise my wife and take her to dinner. I called when I got back into town and asked where she was. She told me she was in her real estate office making copies. What luck! I was just across the street, so I went to her office. Not one vehicle stood in the parking lot, and the lights in the office were off. We both had phones from my brother's cell phone company, so I called him and asked if he could locate her phone. He said he could get into big trouble if anything were to come of it, so I promised not to use the information in any way that could involve him. He triangulated the position of her phone between 3 cell towers and got me within 1 block of where it was. I knew this area, nothing but hotels. I drove to the area and searched the parking lot of the 4 hotels, and there stood her minivan in the very parking lot of the hotel we had frequented when we were dating. So I waited. About an hour later, she emerged from a room and got in her van and left. 15 minutes later, her broker emerged and got in his car and left. I went to dinner alone to contemplate my next move and never said a word to her about it. I quit having sex with her and began dating again as well. I would really push the envelope by staying out until 4 a.m. with the hopes that she would accuse me of having an affair. Then the day came. I just looked at her and laughed. Soon we were divorced. She had the divorce papers ready 2 years earlier. It took 2 weeks to finalize the divorce. Nothing was ever mentioned about infidelity either on her part or mine. After 11 years, she is old and single and living with her mother. I am in a relationship that is a dream, have become extremely successful, and she can suck an egg. Lol. Redditor 1. It's too late now, but you didn't make yourself appear good in that story either, and your vengeance was ruined because instead of telling her, you just made yourself seem just as untrustworthy. Redditor 2. Satisfying story. In the words of many disgruntled males, your ex hit the wall while you flourished. Redditor 3. I like that you kept your head and coolly thought through it. Nothing worse than throatly in love with someone and learning they are a ex-felon. Story 2. I began to get depressed. I take pride in being a wife that doesn't do things like. I had strong suspicions for a long time. There were many hints. He had to go away more and more the last couple of years on business trips. And he suddenly started keeping his entire body closely shaved, especially the night before a business trip. He started buying a lot of new clothes and underwear, getting his hair cut regularly, watching his weight. I found a C-Times ring in his toiletry bag once. He stopped looking me in the eye. Our S-Times ex-life stopped. No matter what efforts I put into trying to seduce him, he either had problems getting it up or to orgasm. He would come home from a trip and even before saying hecko, would take his clothes out of his bag and put them in the washing machine. He became a constantly angry or bitter man, criticizing everyone at all times, whether it was me, our kids, or strangers walking down the street. He became extremely narcissistic and cruel. He was not at all like this before. I began to get depressed. I take pride in being a wife that doesn't do things like check my husband's phone or anything. He had several cell phones and at least one secret email address I was aware of, but I had never attempted to look into them. It sounds irrational, after 2 years of this behavior, but I loved him and wasn't ready to know, I guess. I kept hoping it could wear off or change on its own or something. When I finally decided I couldn't live like this, I didn't want to be lonely and depressed anymore. I dived into his email times unfound there were many, started looking into his phones, went through his briefcase. The extent of what I discovered was worse than I had imagined. Extensive anonymous S*X, a regular at S*X club, a long ongoing S*X relationship with a couple in particular at their home, voyeuristic videos of friends without their knowledge. He had to admit everything. It was the worst experience of my life. Like being stabbed in the stomach repeatedly. I sometimes wonder if I will ever feel happy again. I was looking through pictures of me, posts on Facebook and stuff from the past, and I cannot remember being that happy, joyful, joking, lighthearted. It feels like I will never know that state again. It looks dangerous to be so happy and naive. Life is hard. Humans are dishonest and cruel. Make sure you are ready for the truth before you decide to find out for sure, because the world might be changed in a blink and never be in an okay place again. Redditor 1, wish you the very best in your new life. I promise, you will at some stage realize that this discovery is one of the best things that could have happened. Then you will be free to live the life of your choice and bring your children up in a healthy environment. Redditor 2, you seem to be in tune with yourself. Know what you need to be happy. I think you alone know what your next steps should be to get yourself out there again. From your profile picture you seem to be quite attractive, so don't even think men would not be interested. Redditor 3, I wish you the very best in life, and I hope in the future you can find happiness again. I have suffered extreme betrayal also, and I understand everything you have written here. One day at a time, and hopefully we will get there. Redditor 4, considering all the info you had on him, did you divorce him? Did your friends find out they were being filmed? Redditor 5, sister, this is also my life story coupled with domestic violence which got proven in court, and I of course separated. Then divorced, and now I'm happier in my life than I ever been before, doing precious good things that matter to me and myself with my loved ones surrounding me. You've got your own destiny to pursue and fulfill, and I say go for it. You'll know more peace of mind than ever before. Post-separation was a rough ride, but I've accomplished many personal goals since, and most of my dreams became fulfilled, so now obviously I'm in a better place than before. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but you've got to decide what's best only for you and go for it. Good luck.
Thank you for watching. Comment what do you think about this situation. Don't forget to like and subscribe.